Hi and welcome to SolidCAM Virtual Summit. It's a pleasure to see all of you virtually. My name is Leditzky. I'm the Technical Managing Director of SolidCAM Germany, and my presentation today will be about how we win customers in Germany, and above all, how we keep customers in subscription, because subscription is an added value for both parties. So let's get started, shall we? The whole presentation is divided into 5 parts, simply structured, and we are starting with an overview of SolidCAM Germany and go on to find about what a USP is and especially what our USP is. After that, we will look to some interesting comparisons of SolidCAM to other systems. Then we will talk about the complete process until the software at the customer. And finally, we will talk about our support and service. The first thing we have to admit is that size does matter. It plays a significant role in the strategy of how you place your product on the market. So let's compare Germany with America. And I think here it becomes more clear that Germany has a fraction of the area of the USA. But our advantage is that our economy is very packed and closely distributed, and we have a very good customer proximity. So please keep in mind, just because it works in Germany doesn't automatically mean it works everywhere. So let's start with a map of SolidCAM Germany, and I briefly show where our branches are located. You can see that we are located more in the south or southwest of the country, which is due to the fact that we find the most industry here. So we have one made fact clear. A branch office should be close to the potential customer base. For example, you can find the world city of medical industry around our headquarters. Furthermore, we have placed machines in our technology centers on which we convince customers of SolidCAM. We do also partner events with renovated partners such as Hermes, Citizen, DMG, and so on in our technology centers. Now a few facts about SolidCAM Germany. We are currently 70 people. Together with our resellers in Austria, Germany, and Switzerland, we serve about 6,000 customers, and we've got over 12,500 educational seats. We are very proud of this, and we make every effort to maintain and expand this customer base. Let's take a look in a company that doesn't have SolidCAM. When we visit new customers, we usually see the following scenario. There are different machines, different kinematics, and different technologies. And for each type, a different software is used. It was usually the case when each CAM system had its own focus. Accordingly, customers also choose different software providers. But let's be honest, in 2021, this has to be better. It is a waste of time and money and comfort. So let's have a look into a machine shop where we have SolidCAM installed already. There is one continuous process for all machines, one CAM system that can handle all available and further machines. And we think this is a unique selling point in this day and age, due to the fact that customers have to produce faster and faster with less manpower. The only logical consequence is a CAM system that unifies all processes. And obviously, SolidCAM offers this. So I was just talking about a unique selling point, and let's take this a notch further and call it a unique selling proposition. What is this, you ask? Well, let me explain. Let's draw 3 circles, and in the intersection in the middle is our USP. We start with the integration into SolidWorks and Autodesk Inventor, move on to the ability to control even the most complex machines on the market, and end with our unique iMachining, which is still the industry leader in dynamic trochoidal milling. So our USP is created in the middle, and let's place our logo here. Clearly, we were here first, so this space belongs to us. And please keep in mind, all those points are directly related to our intuitive and easy-to-learn interface of SolidCAM. Okay, well, nice. We have a USP, but how does that help to be better than others? Well, not quite. In addition to the points we discussed earlier, there are other modules of which iMachining is still the absolute market leader and continues to amaze customers today. So I would always call the solution for the machine shop. Let's go to the other modules. Let's start with iMachining 2D, iMachining 3D. And by the way, I present a comparison of iMachining to other strategies later. Then we go up to simultaneous 5-axis milling, which has gotten some great improvements in this version. Then to our new SolidCAM simulator, which takes simulation to a new level. And we end with our mill turn, which now supports just about every machine we see on the market. Currently, we're installing a lot of Swiss type machines, and which is, again, an enormous added value for us and our customers. The point of view is really important. Why? Because we always see the market from a supplier's point of view. We sell to customers, but how do customers decide on a CAM system? Well, first of all, as we all know and most of us do, we first ask our good buddy Google. Google knows everything, right? Well, not quite. Google only knows what we reveal about ourselves, about our company. So it's incredibly important to build your online presence in such a way that customers see all the information they need at first glance. I have added here the typical first question, which the customer usually answers themselves through online research, but we will go into this more detail in the next slide. So we have to match both points of view, and especially we as a company have to understand the customer's point of view, because for them it is not easy anymore to compare the individual CAM system with each other. And we have to help with that. Here is the workflow, how customers get information in these days. At least in Germany, we first create a list. Like for pretty much everything we do, well, that's how we Germans are. After we have created a list and made a few assumptions, customers evaluate which providers they go in. Let's call it round 2. After that, more intensive research is done on YouTube channels, on Facebook, on Twitter, basically everywhere with information. Important. Customers want to be called by a salesperson right at the beginning because they are afraid that they will be sold something they don't need. So the social media presence must be absolutely up to date and to the point in their respective language. After the first 2 steps, the customer hopefully contact us or we are able to contact them. And then we will continue with an internal consultation and hopefully a possible demo. And it is exactly this first process up to the contact that we must always keep in mind. So it's incredibly important. SolidCAM has a really, really good reputation and we have to take advantage of it. Now, briefly back to the title of the presentation, how do we beat the competition? I would like to put it differently. What do our customers expect from us? Because that's actually quite simple. Customers expect to find a partner whose product and experience will help them become more productive. Tomorrow, Ken will talk about the importance of partners, because this is incredibly important. Partly, partners recommend us directly to our potential customers because they know how well SolidCAM works and they take this message directly to the market. So we have to put a lot of emphasis on looking after our partners. And in Germany, we have created an extra department for this, which we call the Key Account Management. Okay, after a lot of theory, let's get down to business. Let's compare SolidCAM with some competitors that we see more or less often in Germany. I have divided the whole thing into 3 areas. First of all, it's about mill turn, and then about the integration with SolidWorks and Autodesk Inventor, and finally, and this cannot be emphasized enough, about iMachining. First of all, I would like to mention that these facts are based on our investigations and may not correspond to the current state of development of the individual CAM systems. Okay, here we go. There are 4 categories, starting with basic mill turn, going up to advanced mill turn, then multi-channel mill turn, and last but not least, Swiss type. Starting with SolidCAM, we offer the possibility to control all mill turn machines from a simple lathe with living tools to highly complex mill turn machines, including Swiss type. And let's face it, the air is getting thin when it comes to multi-channel mill turn and Swiss type. Programming these machines requires a lot of technology and development effort. In our case, only Esprit and SolidCAM offer full capabilities up to Swiss type. Well, it's also clear that other CAD systems prioritize or have prioritized other areas. But we are home in this military niche, and we have to take advantage of it. We offer one of the best integrated solutions for it, and to be honest, the only one. The next comparison is about the integration in SolidWorks and Autodesk Inventor. Both systems are world-class CAD systems, and the integration with these systems offers many benefits. SolidCAM, CAMWorks, Hypermill, and MasterCAM claim to have integration with SolidWorks. And we know from us that the integration is seamless and intuitive. But other CAM systems offer their own CAD systems, which should show us and also the customers where their priorities really are. So remember, SolidCAM offers full capabilities in build turn and has a seamless integration in SolidWorks and Autodesk Inventor. Other systems do not offer this out of the box. And I would also like to note that SolidWorks and Autodesk Inventor offer great possibilities for importing external data without the need of extra purchasing a module or whatever. This is also offered by other CAD systems, but only at an extra cost. Finally, the third point, which is very important for me, it is the topic of iMachining. I still remember when we did the first test in the year 2010 on our Hemle, and we all were convinced that either the machine or the tool would die. Far from it. We were in love from it the very first second we saw it. It just worked without any problem. But why is it like this? Let's take a look and why that is and what we do differently than others. Well, let's compare our patented iMachining with the strategies of other CAM manufacturers. But before we get into that, we need to look at one important factor in theory. Since there are newcomers to iMachining, as well as experts in this presentation, let's try to keep it simple. But it is important to understand a basic principle. A core functionality of iMachining is that we can vary the cutting angle. This indicates how far the tool is engaged. This means that at any time during the tool path calculation, we have the characteristic value of this angle and adjust the tool path and also the feed to it. In the first diagram at the top, we see the finished workpiece highlighted in gray and the material that has to be removed in green. In this case, we have added half the cutter, resulting in an engagement angle of 90 degrees. The engagement depth is also referred as step over. In this case, it is the radius of the end mill. In the second image on the bottom, we have less step over, and the result is a small engagement angle. A basic principle that every machinist learns during his initial training is that the feed rate depends on the step over. Therefore, the feed rate must be adjusted when the step over changes. If this does not happen, the cutting conditions vary significantly, and the cutter may break in the corner because the feed has not been slowed down. In iMachining, this happens at any time and for any tool path. So we have two very simple statements. The smaller the step over, or let's call it engagement or cutting angle, the faster the feed must be. Furthermore, if the feed is constant and the step over is smaller, the cutting force on the tool decreases. The aim of iMachining is therefore to dynamically adjust the feed to the engagement angle and thus to keep the force acting on the tool constant at all times. I have included a calculation of this angle. Please stay with me. But this is really only for the nerds, and therefore I skip this explanation. Who is interested can look at it later with pleasure, but it is clear to see that the calculation is based only on simple angular function, and it's relatively simple to calculate by hand. But remember, this happens every tenth of a second in every little step on the tool path calculation. Long story short, now the comparison to other strategies. I would like to say once again that this information is based on our research, and I do not assume any liability for its correctness. The first question is whether something is patented. In this case, we have currently applied for 4 patents with iMachining, which are still active. The second point is incredibly important to understand. iMachining is designed to keep the force acting on the tool the same at all times. In this case, our technology is constant cutting force. We can dynamically vary the cutting angle and adjust our feed rate accordingly, as showed earlier. We use the maximum possible Murph spirals, and we have a special handling for symbols to avoid vibrations. And now let's take a look at this in comparison to the others. I think the table speaks for itself. We clearly have an advantage here in all areas. We always hear from our customers, well, yes, I have something like iMachining, only from a different provider. And I think now, looking at this chart, it is clear that it's not the same. Many of the other systems are based on constant step over or constant engagement angle, but this always results in a different cutting force on the tool, which can easily lead to breakage or more tool wear. And especially with small tools, this is really important. So our approach is extremely simple, and it uses all the basic principles of machining. In my opinion, dynamic feed adjustment is the key to effective milling, and as we all know, if iMachining embodies anything, it is efficiency. I would like to call it AI machining from now on, and we will hear later from Anthony Calderon what has changed in iMachining to call it like this. A very interesting presentation, don't miss it. The second chapter of iMachining is the comparison based on other features iMachining offers. First of all, we have the wizard, which literally takes the operator by its hand and provides him with all the information he needs for machining. It's like an autopilot that you just give the target and it calculates all the information about the speed, the feed, and the tool path on its own. Combined with our intuitive interface, this results in a really short learning curve, which in turn with our unique tool path calculation leads to the so-called first part success. We regularly receive this feedback from our customer, and we are particularly proud of this. No more broken tools or broken workpieces. iMachining just works. And as we all see, compared to the other technologies, there is a clear advantage from our side. I have prepared a short movie about iMachining. Have fun with it.
On almost every part, you have operations that can be programmed with iMachining very easily and quickly. Above all, iMachining 3D is amazing. With just one click or very few inputs, I can do a complete rough contour or the rough machining of the part. We bought the iMachining module for one reason, simply to challenge it, as we just did not believe what they said. Just to show the guys from SolidCAM, yes, forget it. It never ever works that way. But I had to admit, after the first programming, after that first job with iMachining, it's just awesome. The metal removal rates are gigantic. Programming is super easy, super fast. Tool life is just awesome. The smooth machining on older machines, which are 3, 4, or even 5 years old, is fantastic. It's absolutely smooth. Everything is exactly like SolidCAM has said. And it was just unbelievable. And it was obviously eye-opening for me because I did not believe it. It was absolutely amazing.
Wow, that was quite a statement. To sum it up, iMachining is still the most advanced dynamic toolpath calculation out in the market. As we have seen before, we still have clear advantages in toolpath generation, which is especially beneficial for difficult to machine materials and also for smaller tools. We are currently testing the whole iMachining approach together with tool manufacturers for porcupine cutters, and we have already achieved promising test results here. Wow, that was a bit much theory, wasn't it? But you can't talk enough about iMachining. Back to something a bit more practical, namely the breakdown of the entire process from sale to installation at the customer side. Because it's not just the software that has to work, but everything else too. And honestly, what would a presentation be without a pie chart? I weighted the software and the post-processors equally because one is basically meaningless without the others. Especially our post-processors are a flagship of SolidCAM, and we have a lot of experts in this field all around the globe. After that comes the service, and we have managed to offer the best service in the CAM world, which is a clear sign for our customers and also for our future customers to choose us. I always put it like this. If you want to have the best CAM system, you have to be able to support it the best. So please put a lot of emphasis on the support. At the last, we have the installation at the customer side. That means the installation and test directly on the customer. We strive to install every system at our customers because we think this is the best service we can offer. Of course, we learned that we can do this online during the last 1.5 years, but as I said, we prefer it to go directly to the customers, but yeah, it's possible also via TeamViewer or GoToMeeting or whatever. Here I have again visualized the process in a little bit in a different way. And what we see when we have a look at all the departments, that all those departments have to work hand in hand. If this nut is functioning well, you have a really big problem. There is a saying, and this fits perfectly to this slide, a chain is just as strong as its weakest link. So you have to make sure that all departments are working hand in hand to satisfy the customer. Okay, perfect. We are nearing the end, and I'd like to do a little summary again of what everyone can take away from this presentation. Does anyone else remember the USP? Great, I hope so. So if a customer wants a seamlessly, easy to use, integrated system in SolidWorks and Autodesk Inventor, which includes the most advanced iMachine technology we've ever had, there is just one possible choice. So let's ask the million-dollar question. Which CAM system are you going to buy? Is it A, SolidCAM, B, SolidCAM, C, SolidCAM, or D, SolidCAM? Yes, you made the right decision. You got the tool to earn $1 million. Last but not least, I would like to talk about the service, which has become increasingly important in recent years. We are convincing because we only have experts on stuff. This is one of our major advantages, which gives our customers an enormous advantage. When they have problems, they call us, and we are going to help as soon as possible. So let's revolutionize the world of machining once again and show the machining world which software is the best with SolidCAM 2021. We have an incredibly worldwide network of experts, and with SolidCAM we have a powerful tool in our hands that you all just have to use. I firmly believe that the best way to predict the future is to create it. Be a part of the SolidCAM community and have a lot of fun during this event. Thank you and see you soon.